Hello and welcome to another video from oorail. This is another 15 minutes of modeling, and today is Thursday, November 28th, 2019. It's also Thanksgiving here in the United States, so if you're in the US, I hope you guys are going to have a good Thanksgiving, and hopefully I actually get to edit this video on time. Probably not, but anyway. So today what we're doing is, yesterday I did this coal bunker, and it's kind of dried overnight. I've shaken out most of the loose coal, so most of it it's not bad. Only a little bit has come out, and you can see there it's turned out fantastically well. Really pleased with this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this on the layout probably in and around Chippenham Junction. I'm going to be starting the upload process of the advent calendar videos here pretty soon, so it'll be nice to have this on the layout, I think, and it's pretty cool. I really like the kind of the coal from Hatton's. It's turned out pretty nice. So when I put this on the layout, I'm basically going to top it off with some of the medium and some of the coarse load from Hatton's, just to sort of let it overspill a little bit, and I'll probably use some of the smaller, finer stuff from Woodland Scenics as well, just to let that sort of spill out in front of it a little bit as well. Alright, so I'm going to set this aside, and it'll probably be tomorrow's video that I put that on the layout. So for today, actually I'm doing something similar. I'm going to enhance some things that we had over at Chippenham Junction. If you aren't familiar with Chippenham Junction, it's the original part of the oorail layout. So the oorail layout is basically a bunch of layouts connected together, enough that I can probably put together my own map at this point. But what I'm doing today is in preparation for some of those advent calendar videos. I just wanted to enhance some of the things that are over there. So I've got these buffer stops. These are actually, I think, peco buffer stops that I enhanced a few years ago with some paint and stuff. I'll put a link in the video, probably up here, a card or something, to the original video, and I'll put it at the end screen as well, so you guys can check out that video. So today it's going to be, the other thing I'm going to be working on is, this is, I believe, a Corgi trackside rail express parcels van, and it's pretty nice, but it looks way too shiny. It's been sitting on the Chippenham Junction layout for a while, so I'm going to use the panel liner, I think, on this to enhance some of the features on the back and the doors and stuff, and then I may also add some weathering powders to it. I'm not sure yet. That might be a multi-day project as things dry up. Alright, so starting out, this is going to be a fairly quick video too. It is Thanksgiving, so I have places to be, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off with a Tamiya panel line accent color. Just give it a good shake, and then we're going to use this on both. Oops, I knocked the camera again. So we're going to use this to basically enhance some of the features here in the buffer beam and maybe along the sides that aren't quite standing out. And again, this might be a multi-day project because I do want to think about using weathering powders as well, but I can't use both since it'll still be wet. So I'm going to start off with the panel liner, and it's very straightforward. You just take it and drop it in, and it should hopefully enhance the edge. Now, I did paint this with enamel paint, so it may require me brushing it on like this, and you can sort of see there it's bringing out the wood detailing in the that's on the plastic mold. It doesn't matter if you get too much on. I found that this kind of evaporates, so it's okay. And then I'm going to also just dab that, and then possibly take some, I don't think it's going to think it's too thick. I'm gonna take, actually, I was gonna use a cotton bud, but here we'll just use this bit of kitchen towel. Hopefully it's not too much. Just to tap that, and hopefully you can see there it kind of enhances the edge a little bit. All right, so by the way, this stuff is really rank in terms of the smell, so just be aware of that when you're using it. But it is really effective, so you can sort of see there it brings out all the kind of detailing and stuff on the side. So I'm going to drop it in here and hopefully have it enhance some of this detail as well. Okay, so hopefully if I do a side-by-side comparison, you'll see, aside from the fact that it's darkened it, it's also gone and sort of enhanced the edges. So we're going to go and do the same thing to the other ones here. So I'm going to set that one aside. And you can sort of see it there too. It's very subtle, but like after a while, after it dries and stuff, you'll see that it's actually done a very good job. So I've added more videos to our Worley playlist. So if you haven't checked that out, go to the Double Oorail channel and select the Worley playlist, and you should be able to find some really good videos. I know Calum has some good videos he started to upload, so it'll be interesting to see. How those pan out. Now, if I haven't added your videos to that playlist, if you've got one you want me to look at, just drop it in the link in the comments below, and I'll take a look. I haven't included some, mainly because some of the camera work was a little, you needed some travel sickness tablets to like successfully watch the videos. And that's not I'm not ripping on people. It's just, you really got to use a tripod, and you maybe, or at least some sort of way to stabilize your camera, and you really got to kind of not move it around so much. You sort of got to let it sit there a little bit. And one thing I did forget on the previous one, I'll have to go back and do, is there is some detailing on the back there as well. Alright, so those are starting to look pretty good. And if I move them over, you might be able to see the difference. So these two here are the ones I've treated with the panel liner, and these two are the ones that are still pending the panel liner change. You also notice that these ones don't have the lamp on the top there, but you can sort of see the panel liner has brought out some of the detailing a little bit better than it is over here, and it's also darkened it up, so I may not need to use weathering powders on it. Just gives it a better kind of almost texture look to it, while this is kind of glossy and so on. Alright, so I'm going to move the camera back so you guys can see what I'm doing, but I'm going to finish up these two and then work on the van over here. Okay, so back to working on these. This is a very easy project to do. Anybody can do this. It's you don't need any spectacular modeling skills. I'm literally just touching the thing with the brush. It's pretty hard to mess this up. You can sort of see there, sometimes it wants to run, sometimes it doesn't. That has more to do with how I painted this with the enamel paints. It sort of maybe thickened up the features a little bit, but it's still enough to enhance. So if you have a problem with it, you just have to see it there. It kind of runs pretty easily, but it will edge enhance that. So you could also use a lighter color. I think I have gray somewhere, and that might bring out some of the darker details. I might give that a shot actually, if I can find it. Not sure what I did with it. It's not easily laying around, I don't think. I'll have to do that in the next video maybe. Alright, so lots of stuff going on here at Double Rail, so stay tuned for what we're working on over the next couple of weeks. We've got a lot of 3D printing stuff on the works, got a lot of really cool electronics projects that you guys are hopefully going to enjoy. So stay tuned for that. And very simply, this is just going to enhance some of the upcoming videos, hopefully. I'll try to do some shots on the first video so you guys can see the end result of this. Alright, last but not least. Now one thing you might have noticed is I'm sort of varying my technique here, and it's just to give me different results. I don't want each buffer to have the exact same kind of darkened look, or you know, this almost creates an oily texture to it too, so it's kind of cool in terms of you know, like grime and stuff like that. But one of the things I don't want to do is I don't want them to all look uniform, because that's not really how things look in reality. So I'm kind of mixing it up a bit with the amount and how I'm applying it. In some places I'm just dropping it in like that and letting it run. In other places I'm brushing it on, and just to get different effects. Also, don't forget the back here. It has a lot of pretty good detailing. These are actually a pretty good kit. This is from Peco, I think, and it's pretty cheap. And when you look at the kit initially, you're like, it's not going to turn out that great. But then when you add some paint and do something like this to it, you know, it turns out pretty nice. And one thing I haven't tried to do yet is 3D print buffers. I'll try to do that maybe over the coming weeks. Might pick something that nobody else already has done, so I'll go through some of our photo archives and see what I can come up with. If anybody has any suggestions on a type of buffer you'd like to see, put in the comments and I'll try to get to it. The CAD isn't really difficult for me to do, so once I get going, it's pretty straightforward. Alright, so I don't have too much time left for today's video, so I want to go and get this van done as well. So hopefully the van will be a little bit easier. So the first thing we want to do is try to get the panel liner into this centerpiece here, and you can see there what kind of enhancement this stuff really does when you can get it into those cracks. Now, like I said earlier, this will dry funny, so it'll hopefully almost give a sort of weathered look. Weathered look to it. So you can sort of see there, it's already enhanced it pretty well. I'm gonna do it a little bit around the lights here. Alright. Okay, so the next part I want to do is maybe this front grille. So get that way. You can sort of see there how it brings out the features in the car itself. So oh, my finger's in the way for that one, sorry. Yeah. You can sort of see there it's gone and filled out the edges pretty well. Alright, we're gonna get the side here. Now we want to be careful, we don't want to make it look like it's disused, but we also want to make it look like it's not exactly, you know, off the factory floor either. So doesn't take much. Once you get it into that groove, it should start to run for you. Some of these details, they're just not quite there. The paneling doesn't support it. So I found that if that happens, just doing something like this, and then just set it down real quick and just blot it with the we'll give it a more of a kind of a weather type look to it. So you can sort of see there, I've got my fingerprint on it. That's not good. Oh. So you can see there, it's that's just a panel liner. It's starting to look pretty good compared to this is the clean side. Alright, so it's got some detailing on the roof here. I'm going to attempt to enhance that. I'm not so sure it's going to come out well, but we'll see. Yeah, maybe one of these cases where we just want to do that. And then, again, just blot it off. So you just take this, pull it by the wheels, and then just sort of dab it a bit. And what that does is you can sort of see there, it creates that kind of grime look, like you haven't washed your car, but it's not like completely covered in mud. So one thing I'm going to try to do is enhance around the windows here. So we'll take a little bit of this and see if it'll drop into the windows. Kind of does. Now it may not be necessary at all now to use weathering powders, which is even better. So I'm going to attempt to kind of run it around the edge here like so, and that's starting to look pretty good. So if I give you guys a closer look, it looks more, I guess, the totally clean side. And if I show you the back there, you can sort of see its edges are enhanced, and then around this side you can just see it looks used, right? It doesn't look run down. It just looks like it's been used. It's not like just straight off the factory floor. So one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use the panel liner around the bottom here, like this. I'm also going to use it, just going to brush it up against the bumper here, because the bumper is a little glossy, and that'll have the effect that it should hopefully look like, you know, the bottom of the car here where it ran would have picked up some mud and so on. So the next thing you want to do is flick it around. I'm going to do this side too. So I'm going to put this down, hopefully. This gets trickier the more you add panel liner to it. I guess I could let it dry, but I'm trying to get it all done for this video. So what you do is just sort of drop it in like that. I'm going to move the camera a little closer maybe, so you guys can see. The camera's going to knock the light out just a little bit, but basically what you do is you just drop it in, and then it kind of runs. So the door should be, door panels there. And let's see. And I'm going to do the same thing I did with the other side, which was sort of drop it in here. And then we're going to take it, and there's some detailing here too. I may have be a little bit different on each side of the van. And then what I'm going to do is just take it and just sort of do this kind of scribbly thing with it. Probably not the most enhanced approach, but like that. So now we've kind of really dirtied it up. And then what I'm going to do is just blot it again. You want to be careful that you don't take off the panel liner where you want it. So I'm going to try to stay clear of the door there. Use it to blot it a little bit, and it gives it, you can sort of see the look it's giving right there. It's sort of taking the kind of new look off of it. Now, the front underneath here, if I, under the front bumper, you know, that's not going to be clean if you ever owned a car. And then finally we're going to do the wheels, right? So you take the panel liner and just run it in a circle around the wheels like that. Sometimes you can just drop it in. It depends on how the car is made. Alright, so that's looking pretty slick. So I'm going to very gently, the panel liner comes off very easily, so you want to be a little careful with it. You can also see here that sometimes it pulls up, so I'm going to give it another little coat on the top here, and then blot it out again. So just take this and blot it, and it looks pretty good. And finally, what I'm going to do is, it's still a little shiny here, so you might want to look at it and go, okay, I want to maybe dirty that up a little bit. And then you just, it might be easier to use a, oh, I do have one here. It'd be easier to use a cotton bud to blot this out. You can also use it to, if you move the cotton bud down a little bit, you can give it a bit of a look. So my goal here is not to make it look totally desolate, but to sort of make it look like it's you know, not brand new, been used basically. So finally what I'm gonna do is, this is the other side of it, so I'm gonna drop some panel liner into there for the wheel, and drop panel liner in there for the wheel as well. And that is basically it. So we've gone from the thing looking brand new, shiny off the factory floor, to something that looks a little more like it's been put through the ringer a bit. So I'm going to go and give you guys kind of a closer look at this from the side and so on, but you can see there that the panel liner has done a really good job of bringing out all the details of the vehicle and so on. So again, this stuff is dirt cheap. It's like maybe a couple of dollars, and it really does enhance the model. So I'm not quite sure I could actually get this effect with weathering powders. This panel liner is definitely, it doesn't look desolate, but it looks more real, right? It looks like it's you know, been out and about doing deliveries and they haven't quite gotten to washing it yet, and it just looks like a little bit more realistic than just a pure bright white van that we had to start with. Alright, so I'm going to let this dry, and then tomorrow's video will show you the stuff on the layout. Alright, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and until next time.